your job today, Deb?
Well, I don't know what my job today is, but my job right now is to pull off these tags and these staples out of the ends of these boards. And I really appreciate whoever was really diligent in these staples and put 5 of them for a little tag.
You wanted to make sure those tags didn't go anywhere. Welcome back, guys. Brad and Deb here. And 1 week ago, Backwoods Buildings out of Chipley, Florida built this wonderful pole barn for us. And their professional crew had this whole thing done in about 6 hours. They did a great job. Everything's square, everything's plumb. But what we didn't pay them to do was what, Deb?
To enclose it, because we're going to enclose it.
We are not a how to do channel, we are a how we do channel. And we decided to save some money by enclosing this pole barn, and it's 20 foot deep by 36 wide. And yesterday they actually delivered the enclosure kit, and I'm going to turn it over to Deb because I think she's going to use the word horrified when she saw the amount of lumber that came off of that truck.
That's exactly the word I used then and I still use, because when he said, well, we'll enclose it ourselves, I'm thinking, okay, I think this is kind of a smaller structure. We'll do a few cross beams and then screw some tin to it. Yeah, what a 2-day job maybe? Well, the truck pulls up yesterday and it's full of lumber. And I'm thinking in my head, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. That's more than 14 pieces of lumber that I'm thinking, right? This company does everything top notch, and they sent us the lumber to do it up to code. And I guess it'll withstand hurricane strength winds.
Yeah, so we unloaded it with our Kubota tractor, and that thing can lift around 1,100 pounds. And they actually had to break the lumber down into 3 different bundles, and so that the tractor could lift it. But I actually called up James out at Backwoods Builders and said, man, I think you sent me too much lumber. And he gave me the drawings and everything to enclose this, because I had a different idea in mind for how we would run the girts. But he actually said we're going to do what's called bookshelf framing, where we run 1 girt horizontal and then 1 on the flat, and it creates a 90-degree angle and makes the building stronger. And he said we will use every piece of this lumber. So you saw the look on Deb's face. So yesterday we spent a few hours kind of getting the lumber situated and putting marks on the posts so that we can start building. So now we're going to start building. I've been trying to get organized this morning, get all my tools and everything set up. But one thing I wanted to mention is a company called Claw Fasteners reached out to us, and we're going to use their product on fencing. And they've got this very unique product here. I'll only take a second of your time to show you. But instead of using staples with a hammer, they made this product to put your fencing in. But that's not the product we're going to use today. They also have what's called construction lag bolts. So they sent us a bunch of these lag bolts, and we're actually going to be using these to put together the building. But the important thing about this, if you're watching this maybe to learn about pole barn buildings, is regular screws, like the decking screws that you can buy in the big box stores, they don't have what's called shear strength. And a pole barn tends to move even though the posts are in concrete, and as they move, they work these screws back and forth, and they'll actually break off these screws. These screws are actually made just like a nail to absorb that tension or withstand that sort of movement. So these screws are much better than these cheap screws. So that's how we're going to be putting the building together. We'll put a link down below for Claw Fasteners if you're interested in their lag bolts or their fencing products. And like I said, we got a lot of fencing to do out here at Piney Grove, so we're going to be very happy to be using this product instead of nailing staples and fence posts. Okay, Deb, I'm going to be relying on you to tell me how to put this pole barn together. So what's the next step?
Good. The next step is we're going to get some wood, and you're going to cut it to fit, and then I'm going to be your great assistant, and I'm going to hold it, and you're going to screw it in. This is what we're going to do.
Deb is totally wrong, because I've got all the tools set up. I've got her a impact driver here. We got a 1/4 inch impact driver, we got a 1/2 inch impact driver, and we got a drill. So we got plenty of tools for Deb.
Even better.
First step, we're going to get this treated lumber and put it over on those sawhorses. What do you think about moving lumber twice?
So this man likes to move dirt piles, he likes to move chip piles, he likes to move rocks. It's just crazy. And so yesterday we moved lumber, so I knew it. I knew we were going to touch this probably 4 times before this thing's built. Love it.
In the background, you see the tin. I moved that with the Summit tractor this morning because the tin was right here, and I didn't like the tin right there.
Okay, so we went around yesterday on this back side, and we did our ciphering and figuring and marked all of our stuff, hoping that it would save some time today when we actually started. And look how well this is built. The middle of that post should be 12 foot. We marked 12 foot. And look, that's how precise this company is. They're awesome. Sometimes the biggest factor in delays is getting things ready. So the first couple steps will take longer, but once we get into our groove and our rhythm, I'm hoping it goes faster than we think. We're only planning on doing the back side today because, again, we don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm hoping it takes less time than we're thinking, but normally we underestimate time. I'm hoping this time this will be a first that we overestimated. Checking the end to make sure it's square, and I guess he's going to trim it off because it's not, or are you trimming off to make it fit? Which one?
No, this end is square and that end just needs to be cut.
Things that you learn. Me, not him, he knows.
All right.
Look at that. Check and see if it's level now. She's level. Look at me, I get to drill it for the big lag. Love me some power tools. You need me to do this on anything else? That's kind of fun.
You heard her get all excited because she got to drill the first hole for those big lags, but now I've got her with the 1/2-inch drive impact and the very first lag going in.
So exciting.
No pressure, babe, no pressure.
Yeah.
Serious tool right there.
That is a serious tool.
You got to give her the gun.
Oh.
Yep,
Oh,
good.
That's just fun.
When I got those screws, I was thinking maybe that they were a little bit too big because they're 5/16, but they are going to be super strong and really tie this building together. And again, those are from Cat's Claw.
Cat's Claw is a small business, and we've spoken with the family, and they're just, besides the product is awesome, the family is awesome too, so check them out.
Yeah, we actually had a very long video chat with them, like an hour and a half, and we were just chatting about everything. They're out in Montana, and they actually patented that fastener I showed you that holds fence wire to post. And these lag screws that we're using are not part of fencing, but they are going to be huge in putting this pole barn together. Deb just jinxed us. She said that went up quick. And she goes, I really don't think that'll be that bad. But everything's going together the way we planned it. It's when you have to do more cutting and you have to do more improvising that it gets frustrating. But we're going to run these other 2 treated bottom boards and then bookshelf it and work our way up. When Deb first walked out here this morning, she said she had a little bit anxiety about starting this project. Why is that, Deb?
Well, because my husband's very wonderful and knowledgeable, but sometimes he thinks I should anticipate and know the process, and I don't always know the process, and it gives me anxiety.
Deb always says she's not half the man I think she is.
Yup, this is so true. But actually we've gotten better because I now know before we start, I say, what is my role? What is my job? And usually it helps a lot.
Yeah, I'm a bull in a china shop. I like to just go, and everything's in my head, and sometimes I don't explain it well. Over 18 years, I guess I've gotten better, but I probably still have a long way to go. We got the bottom band all on, and it's pretty darn level, and now we've started the first bookshelf support. So Deb, what does a bookshelf support do?
Well, the bookshelf support keeps this bottom rail from flexing. So that's what
you want to show them over here how it flexes without that?
Yes, I would like to
bookshelf?
show them over here how this flexes. See, there's a little bit of flex here, but with that bookshelf here, it'll stabilize that where we won't have that flexing.
But basically the outside board screws into the post, and then the inside board is an inside measurement in between the post, and then you just screw it along here, toe nail it or toe screw it into the post. And that gives it rigidity this way, like if wind is blowing on the inside of the shed or from the outside of the shed. What we're going to do is put one of the cat's claw screws in there on the end, and then we'll use regular decking screws across there, and then we'll take one of the big lag screws and come in from the back side and tow it in. We're going to tow it in like that. That'll give it that much screw into the post and attach it attach the bookshelf to the post there. Pre-drilled it so it'd have a good chance of not splitting. That ain't going anywhere. That's in there. And we'll do the same thing on this. Having fun?
I do. I really like this. It's powerful.
So I think what we'll do is go about center of the bay with another cat's claw and then use regular decking screws to finish screwing it off. Finish fastening it. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. We got the bookshelf all flush and now Deb's gonna anchor it with a lag screw. Okay, Deb, you wanna button up the ends. Put 2 of those lags there on the end. Actually, you can do 4 there and then 2 on the other end. And then that'll all be buttoned up.
Button her up. First row done.
Second row going up. Pro now, aren't you?
I am. Look at me.
Board number 2 on the second row. Rocking and rolling. We got our system down now a little bit, and also we don't have to be as precise because on the bottom it gets what's called rack guard. In the middle is just a nailer or a screw board for the tin. What'd you just learn, babe?
I just learned that we're bookshelving every one of these. I thought we were just bookshelving the bottom. And I was like, oh, this is going to go so quick.
All right, grab that one and flex it. See how much it moves?
I thought you just braced the bottom and then that gave you a drip edge as well. No, I was wrong. We're bookshelving all of them. Oh, I'm a little disheartened.
Deb said no one else would measure this but me.
Yeah, would you measure halfway or would you just eyeball it? I think most people would eyeball it.
Ish.
Brad is not most people. Just saying.
She needs to eat a sandwich. She was pushing, nothing was happening. All right, we're gonna do one more and then we are gonna eat a sandwich. All right, lunchtime.
Does your husband tell you exactly where to put screws? Does he? I'm just asking.
Do you want to be responsible for putting in? Okay, from now on, for the rest of the build, you tell me where all the screws go.
No, I'm just saying, to this precise moment. I don't want the responsibility though.
She just got anxiety.
Yeah, I did.
What did you just say?
I said, this is like a bar. I'll take a margarita on the rocks, please.
She just had lunch. What more does she want?
Apparently a margarita on the rocks.
2 down, 2 to go.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Did you hit yourself on that clamp?
Yes.
Need a hard hat?
I probably do.
You're not much for ladders, are you?
No, I hate ladders. I fell off a ladder and broke my finger once.
So we're gonna switch it up on this one since we don't want to move the ladders every time. We're gonna build this row and also the final row, and that way we don't have to move the ladders. This is gonna be harder than these two because we gotta go up and down. But while we're measuring this, why don't you tell them the broke your finger story?
I fell off the ladder and broke my finger.
Well,
the
end. The end.
Before we had even met, I was painting my house, and I'm not graceful. I've never claimed to be graceful. I had vaulted ceilings, and I was on a ladder, and I lost my balance, and I knew I was going to fall, and so I tried to fall on my couch, which I had pulled into the middle of my floor, and I did. I fell on my couch.
How's my, before she finishes the story, how's the end of my tape?
Your tape is flat and there's a silver piece of it. So anywho, I fell and
We got to do that again because I didn't. I know the inches, but I know the fraction, but I don't know the inches.
He tells me to tell you a story, then he interrupts me like 42 times.
Just think the suspense of it will.
Oh yeah, I'm
will
sure your suspense is killing these folks. Please, Deb, tell us what happened when you fell.
Okay, I got it. Back to your story, Deb.
So anyway, so I'm losing my balance and I know I'm gonna fall, so I somehow managed to fall on the couch, except it was the back of the couch. And everything was fine except my finger caught on the back of the couch and was shoved the opposite direction. Your fingers are meant to bend like this. They're not meant to bend sideways. So I knew I broke it. It was about 8 o'clock at night. And so I took 2 nail files and I put them and I taped them on my fingers. I made myself a splint and I kept on painting. So how about that?
You know what Dad used to say, rub some dirt in it.
I did end up having to go to the doctor because it turned a funny color. And they said, well, yeah, you broke it really good and it's already started to heal. So the only way to fix it is to re-break it. So I have a funny finger now. I'm okay with that.
Now back to the pole barn build.
I've broken other bones.
No, one per video is enough. So that one's completely done. Now we're gonna switch to the top one, which will be the most challenging. But I just want to say something about people that work in the industry. You know, we were happy to have that crew come out here and put this pole barn up for us. And we wanted to do this ourselves to save some money, but it's a tough job that these people in construction do. So when they give you a quote and everything, just remember, they're out there in the hot sun. They're moving these heavy boards around. We're a little bit older than most people in construction, but our hat is off to them and everything they do for us.
We salute you.
All right, we're gonna measure this last one. It, of course, will be the most challenging one. We mentioned it in the intro, but these cat's claw fasteners, they are just really, really thick and strong. We're putting 14 by 3s and 15 by 4s in, and the 14 by 3s are going in the center and on either side here to make that 3, and then the 15 by 4s are the third one there. And I just have a lot more confidence in those screws than the standard decking screw, which we are using, but we're only using them in places that are less critical. So that's the difference between the 3 screws. These are your standard decking screws. This is the 14 by 3 cat's claw, and that's the 15 by 4 cat's claw. She was grabbing my butt. This is a family show, Deb.
He literally said, push on my butt, is what he said to me. Push on my butt. I just do as I told. I really don't know why I was pushing on his butt. So you'll have to explain that. I just do it.
This Piney Grove just said on the top tier or the top row, let's not bookshelf it.
I did, and I mean it. It's up there. This thing is so strong and it's great, but I think bookshelfing the top might be overkill.
No such thing as overkill.
Says the man who measures the middle.
We get high winds here in Florida, hurricane area. I just don't want to have to build this thing again. And if it does go from a hurricane or a tornado, then there was nothing I could do about it.
This is great. I mean, the company designed it beautifully. But I bet a lot of people wouldn't bookshelf any of them, let alone all of them. What say you, people? What say you?
So if Backwoods Builders was building this, they would have to do it, I think, because of code, but they wouldn't build it any other way, meaning even if it was an agricultural building, they wouldn't just slap the wood up because they want their structures to withstand wind and they don't want to have to come back and do warranty work.
But I think that as users who build it on their own, I would be really curious to know how many people would bookshelf every crossbeam.
So that bay there is completely done. And on this one, we think we're going to start at the top and then do the middle one because the middle one kind of got in our way when we were trying to fasten the top one there. So we're going to try something a little bit different. I don't know that it matters. Probably not something someone with a replaced shoulder should be doing, huh?
Probably not something anybody with regular shoulders should be doing. But no.
Getting tired.
It's been a long day.
I would say getting old and getting tired, but I was already old when I started. This day started out fun. I think that fun is wore off.
Yes, this is no longer fun.
Now we are done completely with these 2 bays, and we need to do 2 more runs on this bay right here. But I told Deb we would quit after we did these 2, so we're not going to get to any tin today. And there's Bella on top of the world. So she's been a pretty good girl today. She's been hanging out with us. We're just glad we don't have to keep her inside. She loves to be with us, but she also loves to take off and hunt lizards and snakes and stuff. So I'll go ahead and point out my mistake. You'll see that we ran the shelves on top on all of these 2x6s on the bottom of the top one, and that was intentional. What wasn't intentional was running it on the bottom side of this one. And Deb noticed it, and she said, we're not going to switch that around. And the OCD in me wants to switch it around, but the 56-year-old in me isn't gonna. We got about 50% of this top one done, and that's the hardest one. And then we'll get this middle one done, and I think we're gonna be done after that. These cat claws are Torque 25 or T25, so they fit real nicely in the head. On those deck screws, when you're trying to do it overhead and you can't get all your weight behind you, they tend to skip inside the Phillips screw head. In case you're wondering what I'm doing here is when I put the clamp like this, I can use it as leverage and twist this 2x6 to get it squared with this post. That ain't going anywhere.
Handy.
That was pretty slick.
That was the most fun thing to happen in the past couple hours.
All right, guys, we got it done. We got all 4 horizontal nailers for the sheet metal, and we're gonna call it a day.
Okay, well, I still don't have my margarita, but I remain hopeful. So this is going to take us a few more videos, so we hope you stay tuned and keep watching. Until the next time, you guys take care out there, be kind.
And tractor hard.
God bless.
Take care, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.